David from Carnage Karts, and today I'm going to start a kind of ambitious project and see what I can do. A while ago, I had received a fiberglass body from a trike maker here in town that was retiring and closing up shop. And when he was nearing the end, he had some stuff left over, and he stopped out at my house and said, I was going to throw these parts away, but I thought of you, and if you want them, you can have them. So, that being said, I obviously went up and took a look at what he had and grabbed some of those pieces. So, let me show you what I'm working with. So my project that I'm working with is going to be this trike body. Comes with fenders for both sides in a gold metal flake, which I kind of like. I'm assuming when it's done it should be alright, but I had started a project a while ago that I wasn't sure how to finish, which is the frame that you see underneath there. And instead of making it a trike, I kind of would like to turn this into an off-roading buggy. And what I'll do here quick is I'll pull this body off of there and show you what I'm working with. I had originally started making this frame here for a different project where I was going to make a kind of one of those wheelbarrow bodied kind of like a tea bucket, and I had some of these square tubing sitting around, but I kind of thought it's about the same length that I need. I'll probably have to take probably 4 inches, maybe 6 inches off the back and put it over there. The reason why these particular tubes are angled, that was where the back of the wheelbarrow body was. And then of course the 3 holes there in the center is where I had the wheelbarrow body sat. So what I was kind of thinking is seeing how I'm going to mount it onto this frame and mate these two together. Then we'll add, of course, the 2 fenders. We will get an engine carriage put in here, and I would kind of like to do, gonna keep it kind of simple, so I'll probably do Predator style with a torque converter. A live axle set across the back, and then of course I'll try and utilize the gas tank hole here, and if I can find them, this is kind of set up for those little round brake lights, and then I will have to figure out the console part of it. I'll probably cut it out where that circle is, probably cut it out more oblong in a rectangular type of shape, and then center my steering down through there and turn the rest into a dash. Shouldn't be terrible, but it's going to be an awful lot of work. I do have some gas tanks up there that are kind of round and should be able to be mounted underneath here. Well, I got some sawhorses down and thought I would do a quick mock-up so that you could get a better visual. I used a couple vice grips so I could hold the fenders on there. I'm going to have to drill some holes to get them mounted properly. But I kind of thought nice big fat tires back here. And then on the front end here, we're going to have to figure out something to fill this gap. But I was kind of thinking that I should be able to use and sculpt some diamond plate for the front here, and then I can come down and then angle it down to the front of the frame here and have a mount that way. I'm trying to keep the body kind of far back so that we have full swing of at least a 6-inch, kind of the same as the front of your front tires of the lawnmower size, which is 15/66. I got a bunch of stuff in the works, so it's been kind of a busy season for me. I almost have the Suzuki finished. She's a pretty good bike. Got the 212 mounted on there. I got the front of the frame altered. Engine plates on. Risers are on. So now it's just the details, but, well, that's for another time. Today it's about upper 80s. Humidity is really high, so I think in order to get this moved along, a couple things to make it a little easier. I'm going to have to get underneath here, drill a couple holes so I can get some bolts into these fenders, make sure that I'm lined up right there, get that angle all set before I go too far. But in order to mount this body and fuse these two together, I think it'll be about time to get the fenders permanently mounted so that it's a little easier to pull on and off. Then we'll measure out this back end. We're probably going to chop the excess here and go straight down and join the bar. I think if I do that, I might diamond plate that also and kind of enclose in then this back area. We're kind of hoping it'll get enough air. We can always do some side scoops here, which are already pre-cut out. Got one on the top. There's the gas tank hole. So it should move along all right. Then I'll have to order up a live axle kit for the rear. I'll probably start off either 212 or 302. I'm probably opting a little bit more towards the 302, but we'll see. We're going to try and do this budget friendly. And not only that, but I got obviously engines, parts floating all around here. And yeah, sorry about the table, but I'm usually so busy going in and out of different projects. About once a month I have to go through, straighten out all my crap. And yeah, so much like everybody else, it's an organized chaos, so it's not entirely that I don't know where anything is. I generally know where everything is. So I guess I'm going to have to begin by grabbing the drill and getting a couple bolts, at least probably one lower down here. 1, 2, 3. So probably 4 holes per side after I get this all lined up. I might just do one lower, one upper temporarily, just to make sure that I don't have to pull these on and off constantly to figure out the framework, because then what we'll have to do, it looks like, get under here, from where the frame ends right here, we'll probably want a piece at the back that goes up, comes along the top a little bit, and then drops back down on both sides just for a rear support. What do we got under here? Because it's all fiberglass, so it's going to be a little touchy, and I would rather not fill this thing full of visible holes and bolts if I can do it. I'm not a master fiberglasser by any means. I've dabbled enough in it just to be dangerous. Kind of like my welding. I'm not a professional welder. I'm kind of what you would call a professional tinkerer. I just like building stuff. I don't claim to be a master at any or all of them. I do know small engine work really well. Am I a master at that? No, I'm not a master at that either, but we can sure figure it out. There's enough information at our disposal, and I'm pretty sure that we can make this happen. So let me get a drill and drill a couple holes, and then I'll bring you guys along. Alright, so I got a couple bolts up in here to hold it into place. I have it so it's flush to the back side. There's a little bit of gap right here. Now this framework that's currently on here, this whole top piece and this cross bracing is going to have to go after I look at it. I'm kind of looking at, from this point of view, any place I want to put my axle hanger. I did find myself an axle down here. These are the type of tires that I want to use as far as width and size go. They're probably off of a, I don't know, one of the Manco karts. I'm gonna guess and say dingo-ish style tire. But they have the width that I want to be able to fit all in this wheel well here. But I'm going to guess and say that someplace in this area is the center of the fender wall. So this has to come out. This short section has to come out all the way from here, and probably cut this one off. Now looking at the frame itself and the body together like that, what I was thinking is that the height of it right this minute is where it kind of needs to be. So if I follow the back of the bottom of the frame here and go equally straight up into this edge, up to that top corner, measure from here up and then come over to this side and go roughly behind the seat here, come up mid seat and bolt someplace, 2 bolts here into the center, have a crossbar coming over and down. That would support the back of the seat to the frame. The frame would have support coming all the way across here to the back piece and then down. And then of course we'd have to do some X bracing in through here. We're going to have to mount a engine plate in there. I'll probably mount that after the axle gets hung. I'm thinking on this particular one, instead of dropping the axle hangers down, we will go up, and I'll make some framework in here, do the axle hangers in this direction, so it kind of keeps the wheel centered into these fenders rather than having it kind of have that old hot rod rake, is kind of what I'm thinking. So I'm going to go ahead and drill the opposite side so I can get that permanently attached, and then I'll take a measurement from here up to the top, from there to about mid seat, and I'll kind of probably keep it even where there will be the square tubing will come up to this corner, come all the way across, and then back down, and that will support the full top of the frame. It'll have support. Eventually we'll figure out how to get some cushion on this seat And I think we'll work from the back and come forward, because there's going to need some, obviously, some bracing in between here. When I go to do, I probably won't do an enclosed floor pan per se, but I may come up and follow this where it goes from here up at an angle, underneath the dash, come across, and then back down, kind of A-frame style into that. And if that's the case, I can kind of keep this area semi open, and it doesn't have to be enclosed, because you're not going to be able to get anything kicking up through the fiberglass body. As for now, anyways, I mean, I can always triangulate like where this piece of frame is. I can bring a piece in from this way to meet back on both sides, and maybe even eliminate this center bar. We'll have to see how that goes, because then I would only have to enclose, you know, this part, and maybe we can find a headlight assembly or a light bar or something that would fit in there, which is why I'm thinking a little more towards the 301 with a lighting coil in it rather than just a normal 212, unless I go ahead and get like maybe a Tillotson or something. So let me go ahead and drill the opposite side for the fenders so that that can keep mounted. Right now I only have 2 vice grips hanging onto this, which was a pain in the ass, trying to make sure that both sides were even. I took a level across here and tried to get you know, fenders at least as equal as physically possible. It's a little touchy, especially when you're by yourself and you're with some oblong pieces of fiberglass. But that being said, let me go ahead and drill those quick. We can then pull the body off of it and get to cutting all these cross pieces out of here. I'll go ahead and measure those out, and we'll see what we can come up with. Alright, now that we got some of this mentally figured out, this is the following day. Yesterday afternoon just got extremely humid, and so where we're at is I need to cut off these bars that on both sides, and we're going to chop off this back end. I went 4 inches back here. We're going to snip it off, and then we're going to come up 15 3/4, come over 29 inches here, and come up 15 3/4, and then we're going to box this one in, and then we'll do that to both sides, and that should encompass the back end on here and allow a lot of room for engine size. I've kind of experienced in the past where if I were to hypothetically Z-notch this and come up and bring the body back, that raises the engine up quite a bit higher. And on the rear end, I want to get as much breathable space between the frame up to the top, so that I can actually mount a gas tank to be able to be filled through that hole, so you don't have to mess around. And also because of the vents here and here, and then on the opposite side, that will allow the engine a lot more area to breathe, instead of trying to tuck everything up and under on these frames. So I'm going to set you up on tripod, and then go ahead and hack off these 2 sides, and then we'll recut and mount those back in. Alrighty, well, I think I have a change of plans. As I was cutting this off and getting ready to hack this off, I was taking a small break, and I was taking a measurement of this area for the complete back, and I would really like some suspension on this one. And I do have a small quad that I was considering building that, quite frankly, I think on small kids' toys I would rather not waste my time, so I have no problems cutting it apart. So if I were to do double A arms here and have full suspension with shocks, what can I do back here? Because that small kids quads, although the fronts are okay, the back axle is not going to be wide enough for this machine. But I usually build Yerf dogs and whatnot. So I did have an extra rear suspension for a Yerf dog that I've had for a couple years. It's been sitting in my inventory, just kind of wasting space, and I'm kind of surprised it's got a little bit of flash rust, but I bought it brand new, and it was like, I can't remember, 130, something like that. But now inside here, not only does it have a engine plate already on it, it does have spindle mounts. So I just have to put two circular pieces, let's get into focus there, right here and right here to mount this. It should have axle hangers and space for at least 12-inch shocks minimally already mounted. So I am going to cut this cardboard off of here and double check everything. I think the width of this is about 24 inches. And the width of my rear frame here is slightly under that, but I don't think that is going to make a bit of difference on it. So let me go ahead and uncover this mess and let's see what we got. Alright, so after getting the cardboard off of this, you can kind of see what I mean. These top mounts here are for shocks. Your pivot point obviously is the front. It does have brake setup, and it does have the axle hangers on each side there and there already pre-mounted, and also with a engine plate on it. So I think the overall distance on here, let me put you up on a tripod and I'll show you basically what I'm thinking. Alright, so the basic concept of what I'm thinking then is I will cut off the back section from here back of the regular frame, and then we will go ahead and make some tabs to go on the outside here and here. Doesn't matter if it's outside or inside. I might actually just go inside, and then that would allow me, the only other thing I would have to do then is come up with a bracket like I was going to do anyways, come across just for the upper shock mounts, and that should move things along rather quickly. Trying to remember where I got this from. It might have even have been Go Power Sports, possibly BMI. I'm not 100% sure, but if I go this route, it would sure save me a whole lot of fabrication that I don't really need to do, because I was going to take some axle hangers off of a different machine and hack those off and re-weld them back onto here. But in all actuality, if I don't have to do that and I can already build it this way, I think I think I'll be money ahead, so let me hack off the rear end of this regular frame and then we'll get back to mounting this one. Alright, with the back end cut off, you can kind of see where I'm going to go with this. Let me turn this way. And I did a quick check in my inventory, and I do have an extra set of spindle brackets, and generally these are supposed to be for the front to mount your spindles, but in this particular case, if I weld these on in this direction, they can be, it's a little hard to see in this lighting, but they can be the mounting brackets for this rear swing arm, so they will actually fit. It's a little bit snug, but then what I do is go ahead, I'll go right to the edge of the frame here, weld it in, right to the edge of the frame here, weld it in, and then that will have me a full spindle bracket that allows the swing arm to go up and down on a pivot point. And I'm pretty sure these thick old bolts should be about the same size as those. And then we'll be able to mount this down, and then all we'll have to do after that is we're going to have to make a piece from the upper frame, and I think I'll keep the measurements as I did before, which is 15 3/4 up. We'll come across in a square, and that will mount the rear section of this and have something to support the rear of this body. And it'll also hide where our shocks are mounted and everything underneath there. So let's see if I can't get these at least tacked in and see how it looks. Alright, well, we got this part done. We got the two arms on here. Alrighty. Good times is what that is. Humidity is now at 73%, and even though it's only 82, 83, yeah, it's getting ridiculous out here. So next, I guess what we'll have to do, we'll pull this body up off the floor, set her back on here, and then I am going to have to build a rear assembly. So it is going to have to go from here up, over back here, curve around, and down. That will be our support for this, and then we'll have to take it from there. I think for today I'm going to lift this back up here and get the measurements off of it, and see what I have in stock as far as like some square stock or tubing that I can put on the rear here to make this rear assembly. But I think I'm going to leave it at that for this particular episode. I'd like to thank you guys for stopping in and watching me struggle and put this together. So I appreciate it. Until next time, you guys take care, and we'll see you soon.